For the first time in more than 5.5 years, we finally tonight have a few new answers to a question that has loomed over Indiana and over the town of Delphi. Who killed Abby Williams and Libby Jones?
From the end of the bridge to, you got to go through. Now, I believe that the bodies were found about 50.
Born from a family's grief and determination. In April of 2020, Army soldier Vanessa Guillen went missing while stationed at one of the largest military installations.
You hear that little music in the background that goes, "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious."
Right.
Knew about it or was there. He's as guilty as the person who committed it.
Chilling details in the arrest of a suspected serial killer caught before he could strike again.
They dropped the ball, man. Like they said, he went AWOL, and that he was a deserter, and nobody went to look for him.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder.
Like I said, we're going back. We were asked last time to kind of talk about the food, the grub truck video, and kind of give our perspective of it. The press release from the police department, it indicated that they're still trying to put pieces together from that night. Does that worry you at any point or at any bit that they're still trying to put those pieces together?
It's been over 5 weeks since little Kaylee Anthony vanished. Her mother, Casey, has been arrested for lying to police. She's being held without bail.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to The Drunken Turkey Show, your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
Well, that doesn't have the same ring to it. Welcome back to The Drunk Turkey Show. I'm your host, Daniel J. I just popped open a Michelob Ultra. It had a sad opening sound. Hi, man, Blue. Hi, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here with you.
Awesome. You drinking with us tonight?
Yeah, I'm drinking some Bird Dog.
Oh, gotta love that Bird Dog, man.
Bird Dog and some Dr. Pepper.
Nice. Big Blue, welcome back.
What's going on?
Clutch. Drinking tonight?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look at this bad boy. I haven't had Hennessy in a while, so.
Did you get that off the back of your top shelf there?
Yeah. I had to get on my tippy toes for this one.
Oh, man, in a short skirt, I bet. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the Stephen Smith case, and then we're going to talk about Scottie Morris, who is a missing juvenile out in Indiana. Very sad story, still missing it. At this point, hopefully he's found okay and alive. But first things first, we want to talk about the Stephen Smith case. So this comes in from TMZ. Stephen Smith case, mom sent letter to the FBI. ID'd Buster Murdaugh as a suspect in son's murder. So this isn't something that we haven't heard before. We've heard a lot of talks and rumors that Buster Murdaugh was involved. She is stating that he is the person that should be looked at as a suspect in this letter. I haven't read all of it. I read probably the first 2 paragraphs maybe and scanned kind of through it. And there's some pretty crazy information in there. Cool. Yeah. It's a 4-page letter. And it just kind of talks about what she's gone through from the beginning to the end. So first and foremost, before we start, Jaime, are you surprised that she also suspects Buster Murdaugh?
I don't, because there was a lot of rumors going around.
Right.
And then, the father, he got a life sentence, so that doesn't help the situation either. You know what I mean? Especially everything, his past and the deaths behind him and stuff.
Right. Yeah. What about you, Big Blue? Are you surprised that she's looking in this direction?
No, I mean, I think there might have been some conflict there, or there might have been some information that her son let her know about. maybe they were in a relationship that we don't know about, but she does.
Right.
They haven't gone through the phone yet, I think.
I mean, we haven't. I'm sure the police have. I'm
Yeah.
sure they've had access to it. Now, how far they've gone into it is a question. I mean, if we are to believe that, let's just say the Murdaughs are involved, right? And this is just complete speculation. You know, it's not unfathomed to think that they would have gotten involved and possibly persuaded a coroner or the pathologist to say that this was a hit and run. And if that was ended up being the case, then they may not have investigated this case to the fullest and done the due diligence of searching the phone. I mean, if there's not a crime that indicates that this wasn't something other than a vehicular incident, then why would there be some sort of evidence of something on a phone? So they wouldn't, one, be able to get a warrant or have access to that. You know, to do so, even if they had permission from the parents, I think it would still fall under some issues where they need to get a warrant for that. Because, you know, how many times have, and you guys can answer me in the comment section, you have a son or daughter and, you know, you want to get a hold of some of the phone records or something, some of the things that they're doing, and you contact, and the only thing that they can send you at that point is just a list of the records of who they've made the calls or who's been texting, but they can't give you the actual individual texts themselves. That would require a warrant. And so, and that's also to protect the phone company. You know, at the end of the day, they may lose service or customers if customers find out that they're allowing law enforcement or any agency access to their personal data without a warrant. And so that's kind of the reason why. And so now that the ruling on how, you know, the passing had occurred, perhaps will allow them to start using forensic cell phone forensic. So let's read this letter to the FBI. This is dated September 28, 2016. So this is about a little bit over a year after the incident. And so it says, reference Stephen Smith investigation. Dear sir or madam, my family is in desperate need of your help. My 19-year-old son, Stephen Nicholas Smith, was taken on July 8, 2015. His life was in Hampton County, South Carolina. It's been apparent from the first week of this investigation that authorities are covering up critical evidence and we no longer know who to trust. Stephen's father, my ex-husband, who is now deceased, and I were first told that our son was shot, and that's how he passed after running out of gas in the early hour mornings and exiting his vehicle. Later that day, we were told it was a hit and run. Finally, investigators determined he was beaten till he passed. He was attacked so violently that the entire side of his face was rebuilt with putty for his funeral. Hampton investigators asked us that time to continue to publicly say it was a hit and run, and they claimed they didn't want the actor to know they were looking for him. There have been no named suspects. And so at this point, I guess they're being told that it's still a hit and run, but that it's being investigated differently.
Yeah.
Now, it just came to light that they've changed that, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that this is true of what they were telling them, that it was being investigated, or do you think they were just trying to hush him up?
Well, since it's a small town, you know what I mean? And if the suspect is probably a resident from there, I think they will want to not give him any sounding alarms, you know what I mean? So he might be a flight risk. This could be true.
Could be. You know, it's possible. What do you think, Blue? Do you think that this is perhaps just maybe conversations that the law enforcement in the area, because they don't trust them, they're reaching out to the FBI because they don't trust law enforcement, right? So I assume that they probably feel, based on the way and the flow of this letter is going, that they're feeling that they're just being told that. What do you think?
I think that they probably were a little upset because they were first told there was a shooting, and then they said, "Oh, it was a beating." So there's not a lot of confidence there in the police force, I would say. So I'm pretty sure that they wanted a better opinion, in my opinion.
Got you. So we'll continue to read on. This says here, the first call my family received after the incident was from the authorities notifying us Stephen's passing. The second came very quickly, the same morning from solicitor Randolph Murdaugh. In fact, he called my ex-husband's cell phone as we waited in the police station for a positive identification. He said he heard of the case and was interested in working pro bono as a liaison between the family and the investigators. So he was trying to insert himself into the case.
Early on, super early on.
Very early on. Stephen's father accepted the offer, although we were unsure why Mr. Murdaugh wanted to help us. We also weren't sure how he found out so quickly, even before it was confirmed to be our son. Surprisingly, after just a few interactions, Mr. Murdaugh stopped returning our calls. Sounds like he was just trying to fish in for information.
Yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like maybe to see perhaps if they were aware of,
going.
her son's, personal life, personal dealings, who he may or may not have been in a relationship with.
Yeah, sure sounds like this. Especially they haven't even ID'd the body, and he's already getting called from him.
Yeah, super suspicious, dude. Especially when we know the history in which and how they work. I mean, you look at the boating accident that happened with Paul, and you saw how quickly and how involved his family was to cover up the situation. They acted very swiftly. There was no hesitation, as if they had done it many times before.
Mm-hmm.
I think we, this sounds about right. Thank you so much for your $4.99 super sticker, Miracle Landon. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I think they're from Scotland. It says so. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. We appreciate that. Cheers. So let's continue this. It says within days of our son's passing, Stephen's twin sister Stephanie was approached multiple times by peers telling her that Solicitor Murdaugh's nephews were responsible. As a family, it was suspicious to us since he had taken such an immediate interest in the case and then became unreachable so quickly. These suspicions reached new heights weeks later when Stephen's older brother Chris was approached at work by a young man he did not know. This person told Chris he was present when Stephen was passing, or when his life was taken, and witnessed everything firsthand. He said that Solicitor Murdaugh's nephew, Buster Murdaugh, who graduated with Stephen, beat Stephen to the past with a baseball bat. He claimed it was because Stephen was gay. Stephen, in fact, was gay. The witness said that they were out smashing mailbox and they came upon Stephen, and Buster seized the opportunity. The young man told Chris that Buster, threatened to take his life if he ever spoke up. This information was given to investigators, but nothing has come of it. And so,
damn.
Do you think that do you think that her Stephen's mom was aware of the blue paint that wasn't automotive paint?
I don't think so.
You don't think they relayed that information to her?
I don't think so. I mean, they gave her 3 different causes of death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But this is a year and a couple of months later. Do you think by this time, I think the autopsy's already been done. A lot of that stuff's been completed.
I still don't think so, man.
The one thing that I do find about this story is that this story comes in within a very short period of time, right? And nobody really knows how he passed. But the police said, he may have been beaten. And then they talk about a bat and they talk about smashing mailboxes, which I would probably assume would require somebody in a moving vehicle and then swinging. Yep. Right. Now, we both know, or we all know that Buster Murdaugh played high school baseball.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was familiar with the bat, knew how to use it, knew how to swing with it, was accurate with it. And so was trained with it. I find it to be a red flag. At the very least.
I had friends in high school that did that, and now you destroy some bats and some mailboxes by swinging at them at a high speed in the car. I mean, you don't go too fast, and they can fall out the window. But yeah, man, you swing hard enough that mailbox will fly off the.
Yeah, man, it was. Yeah, and depending on the speed in which they were going to, and then the other thing you also realize is that it was on the right side of his face, right? And so if you're following law on travel, you're walking against traffic, you're walking on the left side. So the right side of your face would be, in the direction towards oncoming traffic. So that if somebody was, for instance, in the back of a vehicle and they swung and somebody like turned around to look like at somebody coming, or somebody was looking straight, it would hit them directly in that spot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Angelic Darkness, for becoming a member. We
Thank you.
appreciate that. This is our Friday show, so the second half of the show is going to be a members chat only. So we enjoy you joining and hope you enjoy the perks. Let's continue this. It says, in reviewing a copy of the 911 dispatch log, which I have enclosed, tab A, page 2, I found out that the first responding officer, Michael Bridges, arrived on scene within minutes of the 911 dispatch, even though the Hampton County Sheriff's Office incident report, he claimed to have driven for a while trying to find my son's body. The second officer, Jason Eubanks, arrived within 2 minutes. This is suspicious to me because the area where my son was placed is extremely rural. Cops do not patrol the area frequently. It's not likely an officer, much less two, would be coincidentally be patrolling there prior to 5 a.m. They had to be in the area for that time for a reason. I suspect they were there because they already knew Stephen was there. I suspect the Murdaughs were the ones that told them. I do not. I suspect that somebody called the cops about the mailbox smashing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They were there for something, which could have been the mailbox thing. And that's why they were in close vicinity.
Right. I mean, then again, the way they try to cover up so much stuff, I was going to say it would definitely be very difficult, with that many people, that many law enforcement officers to cover up something that severe. I would assume if they would have known, the cops themselves like this, that it probably doesn't go down this way, right? So my assumption is, especially both of them are there, is that they're there because somebody called because of loud noise, somebody called because of mailboxes, but there should be a log of that.
Yeah, there should be a report, right?
Yeah.
And if it's not, who took it out?
Well, I don't know. You know how the Murdaughs had a lot of power in that town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The Murdaughs we'll continue. The Murdaughs are probably the most prominent family in Hampton County. Stephen had on more than one occasion mentioned to his friends and his twin sister that he was involved romantically with someone from a prominent family in the county who was hiding his sexuality. He said that it would shock people to know this person was gay. The suspect this could be is a young man Stephen was referring to, though he never named him. At the beginning of the investigation, officers told us they would not have access to Stephen's text messages for approximately a year, which is
weird.
That's not accurate. They claimed they would have to send the phone to Apple to override security features. We found out months later the phone had never been sent to Apple. Often investigators claimed it was uncertain which department had the phone. They have since produced the phone, which they still have not sent to Apple, but still claim they cannot access it. We fear then and still fear now that they have and will continue to delete critical information on the phone. It has already been over a year and we have no knowledge of who Stephen interacted with by phone call, text prior to his passing. This is really, really freaking suspicious, dude. Every aspect of it. You're talking from, the coroner to the pathologist and the manner in which he passed. You're talking about what's up, Pittsburgh in the house. You're talking about, showing up on the scene. You're talking about trying to do things to figure out stuff, by calling to do be a liaison between investigators and law enforcement. Yeah, there's just a lot there, man. Yeah. So much that I don't know, man. What are you thinking?
It's real sketchy, super sketchy. And now that like we said before, now that we know the Murdaugh family and their doings, and it just makes it a bigger suspect. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. But like I said, there's some weird things here. So we'll continue. Since the incident, Buster's gotten rid of his old vehicle, which is critical because according to witnesses who approached Chris, they were traveling in Buster's old vehicle that night. It also is critical because Stephen was found 3 miles from his vehicle on the morning of the incident. There was no blood splatter on the crime scene despite his brutal beating, which makes it clear he was transported to that site. We believe there is DNA in Buster's old vehicle. I think it is important to note Stephen's wallet was found in his own vehicle and his gas cap was open, further suggesting he did not leave willingly. Stephen was very skittish and would never have walked down the road in the dark. It's not likely he would have opened his car door to accept assistance from someone he did not know, especially alone in the dark county road that he was. He even known to walk through the woods during the day to stay out of sight. His autopsy shows his toxicology report was negative for drugs or alcohol, so I have no reason to believe he would have done something so completely out of character. What do you think about Buster selling his vehicle so soon after the incident?
How soon was it after that?
Well, this is only a year after the case, after the situation, as far as when this was written. I don't know, but within a year.
Within a year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would have been more suspicious if he sold it like a week later. You know what I mean? But
it's possible. We don't know how.
Yeah, if we knew an exact date, it would have been a lot more suspicious if it was closer to the when the crime was committed.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say is, if it was his vehicle that was used,
who's driving?
I find it. Yeah, who's driving? Like, I find that weird that he would also be the one in the back playing the bass, with the baseball bat. Mm-hmm. I would assume maybe possibly that would have been maybe one of his friends or his brother.
So the thing that I don't get is they own like 97 acres, man, and they did that. They could have just easily dumped it somewhere in those 97 acres.
But if they did that, then one, they'd be a missing person. Then they would have to search for the phone, and then the phone records would come up. If they made it look like it was a vehicular accident, then there wouldn't be a reason to search for the phone or look into the past. It would appear that it would be an accident, right?
Yeah. So, when you said something about when you told us that he should have been driving his own vehicle. When I don't know about you, but like I've never done it myself, but whenever you're hitting mailboxes with a bat, usually take turns.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe, you're right. Maybe it was his turn to do it.
And then not only that, but like if he plays baseball, of course he's gonna hit, swing harder than just a normal person. You know what I mean? Because he's been training for that.
Yeah. Who knows how long he's been playing baseball? It could have been something that, since he was in, T-ball. And so he'd been swinging a bat for like 12 years at that point.
Yeah, and at that point, like let's say if he's been playing for 12, I'm pretty sure he's going to swing the bat harder than we are.
Yeah. And if he's in a vehicle that's traveling 30, 40 miles an hour, that velocity is only going to, it'll do some damage.
Yep.
So let's see. Jolie's mom says, I just find it weird Stephen's mother never mentioned Buster until after Alex. Sketchy to me. Well, this letter was written in 2016, so it was a year afterwards. Yeah. So they're implicating Murdaugh fairly soon.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Since Stephen was placed on the highway, it became a highway patrol investigation. We thought this was beneficial to Stephen since local authorities obviously have their own agenda. However, this does not help our case at all. This case was mysteriously bounced from investigator to investigator without reason or notification. It would repeatedly get to a certain point, then assigned investigators would bow out, perhaps not wanting to take on Solicitor Murdaugh. We have a $1.99 super chat. This family knows how to stage scenes. Thank you. We appreciate you, Bonnie J. Detroit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is true. She does make a valid point. They do know how to stage some stuff. This comes up. It says, I was approached in September 2015 by a gentleman claiming to know about a criminal case decades ago that was swept under the rug to protect a different member of the Murdaugh family. This came as no surprise to me. I see a history repeating itself with my son. No one here is trying to solve our case. Therefore, I contacted Governor Nikki Haley that same month with a plea for help. I wrote a letter telling her basically word for word the story I've just explained to you. She responded promptly, assigning the case to new investigators. While it appeared to be the answer to our prayers, very little progress has been made, and they say have exhausted their leads. I cannot fathom how that is possible. Our concerns regarding Solicitor Murdaugh and his family have not been investigated despite witness accounts, which include an alleged conversation between a schoolmate of Buster's little brother, Paul, and school officials. I was told he claimed to have knowledge of the incident and implicated Buster as the person that did it. Those school officials were said to have discussed the statement with the student's family, not police. I have heard no further follow-up in the situation. Interestingly, according to my source, Paul was transferred from that school to a private school after the alleged statement.
Damn.
That's some powerful accusations here, and whoa, hold on.
What was that? That was some things going on at Danny's.
Yeah.
I got like 4 dogs, y'all, and they're going crazy right now. I'm gonna go check it out. I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay.
I'll keep.
Yeah.
We'll keep it.
Let's see what's going on, because that's how that happened. I think one of his dogs got into a fight with the other pup, and like they had to go to the hospital and stuff like. So hopefully that's not the case right now.
Yeah, man.
But man, at this point, man, everybody. It seems like Murdaughs have everyone in their pocket at this point. You know what I mean?
In that little town, I believe so, man.
Especially like. If it wasn't for the case or the sentencing of Alex Murdaugh this year, I don't think it would have brought up the rest of this, all this stuff about Steven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would have just slowly went cold, and especially right now because we don't even know. I don't know if he said it right there on when Danny was talking about it. Who has the possession of the phone?
Oh, they haven't said who has it.
Because
they found it. They said they found it again.
Yeah, because there's no like with his clothes also. It was like there was no somebody had possession of it, and then like they didn't write put it in detail what they had, and look through the pockets and whatnot.
Yeah, and
like anybody could have got to it too. So at this point, it's like, why haven't they brought up the phone and, make sure what the text messages that he sent out before his death?
Yeah, I say thanks to Leticia Guerra for the $5 super sticker. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we also have a $20 super chat.
Says, I think the entire family has a body count. They use their name and their wealth to fly under the radar. Yeah, I do too. I do, and especially after the death that they've been accounted for. But yeah, thank you.
I mean, let's see. They got the poor young lady that fell off the boat. You know,
Nanny.
He hit the column and then she fell off the boat. And it was drinking and driving. The nanny.
Oh yeah.
And then the Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh, husband, the wife and son.
Yeah.
And then this case.
Yeah. Hey, bring up the $20 super chat. What was it? Iron Range Rube? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Iron Range Rube.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you too, Letty. We here's cheers to you guys. Mm-hmm. You guys make this show what it is. We appreciate y'all. And so there wasn't. I don't know what's going on with my dogs. They were acting crazy for no reason. I thought my wife got home already, and no, nobody's here, so I got kind of scared. I came back in here. I
one of the Murdaughs and shit.
Right. I mean, dude, I'm sorry. We're talking about them, and my dogs start going crazy.
It's the feds, man. The feds.
At least we weren't talking about somebody with the last name Clinton. All right, let's carry on. So this says here, and this kind of goes into what we were saying, right? We believe Solicitor Murdaugh's influence extends to the pathologist, Dr. Earned personnel of MUSC, who performed Stephen's autopsy, though Deputy Coroner Kelly Green and SLED agent Brittany Burke, who were both present for the autopsy, have gone on the record to state that neither made any mention of car striking. Stephen, Dr. Snell ruled his death a hit and run. Right, she was combative with the Highway Department investigator Todd Proctor regarding her finders when he pointed out that the only trauma was to Stephen's head. He asked how she came to that conclusion, and she said it was because he was found in the road. That alone was her reason. She insisted hit and run, despite the fact that neither of his injuries nor the crime scene supported the finding. And so we kind of thought that too, right? That she was potentially compromised in this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's your friendly ghost. Yeah, it could be. It could be. I don't know. I thought my wife was home. We have a camera inside the house, right? And I think she yelled at the dogs on the camera.
Yeah.
And so I heard somebody say the dogs, and I walked out there. To my surprise, nobody was standing there. So I was like, I hope that was the camera. Let's continue. So the coroner disagrees with the determination, and it's documented multiple times in the case file that there are no skid marks or vehicle debris consistent with the hit and run of the crime scene. Dr. Pearsnell herself confirmed to Investigator Proctor that she found no glass or the fragments on the body to suggest the hit and run is simply not possible, that a vehicle struck solely his head. Coroner Ern Washington informed Investigator Proctor that Dr. Snell told him she would change her report to read however he wanted it.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy, right? Copies of Investigator Proctor's summary notes, which document his discussions with Dr. Pearsnell and Coroner Washington, are enclosed. We desperately need your help. This investigation is being deliberately derailed. We need someone to hold the investigators accountable and access Stephen's phone. Solicitor Murdaugh is widely known, and it appears this is playing to his advantage. We need someone who doesn't care about his family name to take this case seriously. In July 2016, I wrote to the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, in hopes that she could and would help us, but there has been no response. I have enclosed key documents I mentioned above, and I can provide copies of the case and documents I have at your request. I have new information to which we discovered in the past few weeks to feel very critical to this case. However, I no longer trust investigators here. I am holding it as I await your response. I can be reached at, it's redacted. I thank you immensely for your time and help. Sincerely, Sandra Smith. Thank you so much, George Teston. Cheers to you, buddy. Cheers to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Rounds only. We appreciate you.
It's just a sad situation, man. You know, you have the mom reaching out anywhere she can. You know what I mean? Like, she wants to find out. She wants to hold the people accountable for that.
Yeah.
No, I know, man. And it's just, I couldn't imagine how frustrating and how painful, her life has been over the last few years.
Exactly.
That the people that she has to depend on to trust to investigate this are people that are involved, in some sort of relationship with a supposed family member of somebody who possibly did this, and that they don't want to, investigate it.
Yeah, prosecute. Yeah, exactly. Especially it's a small town. I'm sure this happened in 2015.
Yeah.
To this day, just like last year, she could have been running into all the Murdaughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're involved in it. You know what
I mean, we do know that Buster Murdaugh has come forward and said that there's no, he spoke about it. He broke his silence. He stated that he was not involved. His heart goes out to the family, such and such. But, this is a guy that, his family has been in courtrooms. They're trained to talk publicly with people and be political, and speak politically correct and things of that nature. And so, to me, there's just a lot of suspicion here. And where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And there's been a lot of smoke around this Murdaugh family.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, man. How long do you think that, put it this way, do you think that we're going to find out that it's not just Stephen Smith's mom that's going to be suspecting Buster Murdaugh? Do you think we're going to hear anytime soon that Buster Murdaugh is being named a suspect from SLED or from South Carolina?
I do, because even from the beginning of when the crime happened, a week later, there were already there's documents that they already mentioned his name.
Yeah.
Not just one person. It's been a couple of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I expect after the following, the most recent autopsy and how they exhumed his body. I don't know what they can find from it, besides the injury, but I hope they have I hope they get into that phone and make sure that all the people he's been contacted with, all the text messages, then that party could lead up to something.
No, yeah, man. Once they start to search that phone forensically and they start coming with things, I think that, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, what do you think about the timing of Buster's statement referencing the case? And then I think it was like the very next day, reports came out that they were going to exhume his body. Now, the exhumption wasn't from like police or law enforcement. I think it's a private company that's doing it with Stephen's family. And so, what did you think about the timing in that? I know we'll start off with you.
The timing is it's kind of suspicious, you know what I mean? But I'm just glad they got somebody private to do the like to exhume his body and do an autopsy on it.
Right.
That way they don't, because like they said, they don't trust anybody in the law enforcement there. Let alone, like, it seems like everybody's, like I was telling Blue, I think everybody might be compromised. You know what I mean? Everybody's being paid off for something.
Yeah.
No, I think somebody gave him a heads up, like, hey, they're talking about exhuming this body, and you were one of the people that were, because I'm pretty sure it's a small town, everybody talks, and somebody, maybe they have to let him know that they're going to exhume it, and he's going to be one of the people that they're investigating, or maybe they came to ask him questions about it already.
Right.
And there's no gag order, so he can talk.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right.
It'll be really interesting if he lawyers up soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think he already is probably.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sally, for becoming one of our newest members. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't know. I for one think that there's going to be a break in the case here relatively soon. I feel that we'll probably figure out or find out that that he's going to be investigated, and I think they're going to find a connection, whether it's Buster or another Murdaugh. You know, one thing that I've realized in this case is that it's Randy Murdaugh that was reaching out. It was the uncle who was doing a lot of the contact and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when Paul Murdaugh was in his issue with the boat, was Randy Murdaugh is involved? You know, I don't know the answer to that question, right? But if he wasn't, would then that mean that possibly this case could be closer towards Randy Murdaugh and maybe somebody close to him versus Alex and Buster?
Yeah.
I think with the boat, they were saying there was the grandpa and the dad, weren't they the ones at the emergency room trying to hush everybody up?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so, do you find that a little bit odd that it's Randy Murdaugh that's reaching out first? Does that draw you some speculation that perhaps maybe it wasn't, or maybe it was still Murdaugh involved?
Yeah.
But not Buster?
Well, say it was Buster, but say he has maybe a cousin his age that might have been the driver. You know what I mean? Maybe does Randy have kids the same age as Buster?
I don't know. I know we got to look into that. That's something we definitely got to we got to look into.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that Randy. You know, even if it wasn't Buster, but like me, shit. Like, I barely talk to cousins and stuff, so I don't know if I'll be helping them out.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Teresa Carrington, with your $1.99 super chat. Says, wanted to send more, can't figure out. You know, we just appreciate you being here. We also appreciate it if you guys hit that like button if you can't support by super chats or donations. We appreciate just the like button and the subscribe. But thank you so much for your.
We're trying to hit 40,000, so hit that sub if you're not a sub. You know.
Yeah, it's the next step in our. It's the next mile marker. So the next case that we're going to be talking about, the second case of tonight's show, is the missing juvenile Scottie Morris.
Yeah.
Who went missing. Here's a picture of him. He went missing March 16th after an argument with his parents. His parents had there's a lot of talk going back and forth based on the punishment choices that his parents made. One being that they cut his hair off, as pictured here. And then they also made him wear a shirt with some remarks on it. He's still missing. It's very serious because of the temperature in which, You know, it's been dropping. It's been a few days since March 16th that he's been gone. And he left in just shorts and a t-shirt, and very sad situation.
Supposedly he left with the shirt he had on, right? The one that in the picture.
That one in the picture.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's kind of, I guess, let's get a brief background, right? He took off from his house after an argument on March 16th. Let's see. He ran away after a night with an argument with his parents. And then, you know, it's been as a result of not just a shirt, but some, and they put in quotations, a disturbing punishment pattern. Despite saying they're looking into the incidents, police have warned against speculation spreading online, noting that Scottie's parents are fully cooperating with the investigation. After countless hours of searching by more than 100 volunteers who have joined local law enforcement, Indiana State Police, and several other departments, the Eaton community is still hopeful that Scottie can still be found safe. Thank you so much, Teresa Carrington, for your $9.99 super sticker. Cheers. All right, so let's talk about the parents, right? And let's talk about this shirt because they're getting a lot of heat about it, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, the shirt itself, I believe it said, "I'm a liar. I hurt my little brother. I cheated I can't read what it says. And something because I felt like being something."
Yeah. It's pretty heartbreaking, man. Like you can see the fact that he just looks defeated, broken. You know what I mean? It's pretty sad. I know they were saying that they did the hair too, as a punishment. But I don't know, that looks pretty clean, man. It looks like clean cuts. I don't know. I cut my own hair, so I should know, right? My hair don't look like that.
I mean, this hair in this picture to the left doesn't look like it was that this is a specific hairstyle. This looks like his hair prior to this was like this, and it just grew out.
Yeah.
All right. So this buzz cut, you know, in this picture here, it looks like a buzz cut grown out significantly. But
they stated that they had he requested it, right, at one point.
I'm not sure, man. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's what they said that he requested that haircut. Not that night, but like a week before, if I am correct.
And so the aunt or the aunt of this little boy has come forward defending the parents. The aunt of Indiana teen who went missing after being forced by his parents to wear a bizarre T-shirt saying "I hurt my little brother" is insistent the family is not at fault. Scottie Dean Morris, 14, of Eaton, Indiana, was last seen around 8:30 p.m. local time, March 16th, on Indiana Avenue and disappeared under bizarre circumstances. The family did nothing wrong and are going through enough and don't need the negativity. Aunt Melissa Morris May wrote on Facebook group she created called "Help Find My Nephew, Scottie Morris." Scottie was last seen wearing a white T-shirt and a handwritten message that said, "I'm a liar. I hurt my little brother and cheat." Police later revealed to his parents, Felicia Bryan Morris, forced him to wear the shirt, but said the parents are not suspects and passed polygraph tests about their son's disappearance already. So these are the parents. It sounds like it was some form of discipline. I don't know what he did. You know, I've seen other parents, you know, wear or put something on a shirt and force their children to wear these things.
I've seen like parents put like one of those big shirts over, like if the siblings keep on fighting together, they put them in the same shirt.
Yes, my coworker says she does. Like,
but I mean,
it calms it down.
But I mean, like on this case, I don't know. It's unorthodox, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it is. It's bizarre. I don't know what, and I'm not trying to blame anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder what was the cause of them to make him wear this shirt. Like, what was the situation around? It said, "I hurt my little brother." I'm assuming something happened with his brother, and he lied about the situation, perhaps.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to know what's farther down. I know it says some other stuff the bottom towards his torso, but like the shirt is folded kind of in a way.
Right.
You can't really tell.
I felt something being something, and it's bent. I can't read it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. So, for instance, like, how can I put this? Do you think that this shirt is more reactionary based on the outcome of the circumstance this kid went missing, and so everybody's looking at this shirt as something that's a big clue, versus maybe perhaps the boy was doing something he wasn't supposed to, got in trouble, and didn't, took off because of the fact that he got in trouble. There's a lot of kids that run away in this manner. I'll be honest with you, my experience in the past in law enforcement and stuff, I've seen a lot of things like this before, where kids get into some sort of disciplinary action with their parents, and they take off. They leave. And they usually come back. I mean, parents pass the polygraph test.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what they're going through.
Yeah. I think everybody, well, not everybody, but every parent has a different way of punishing, trying to make their kids understand what they did wrong and how they can make them learn from their lesson. I don't know if this was a current, it was happening all the time, where they use this shirt, or they made a shirt for whatever they did, and they will make them wear it. If this is just like a single occasion or event, then that will raise some flags. You know what I mean? Because at this point, it's either he ran away willingly, and because of the this kind of things, they humiliate him. It kind of stays with you, man. Especially as a kid, I should know. Even I'm in my late 30s, and I can still remember stuff that's happened to me when I was 12, 13 years old. And I can still think about it. So this is something that will stick with someone like that. But even if he did run away willingly, I don't think he would leave just in shorts and shirts, especially the same shirt he was wearing in that picture.
And I mean, he probably goes. It sounds like they got into an argument and he got pissed and just walked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a big community. This is it. This is the town. These few blocks. This is a small community.
Yeah.
From all appearances, it sounds like he lives here in this house. He was seen on this street here. Let's see what the area looks like. He was seen on ring footage heading eastbound.
So by the neighbors, right? Ring camera?
Possibly. It said it was heading eastbound on East Indiana near Mar Frank. And so one of these houses here has a ring device.
I believe he's 14. Somebody asked how old is he? 14, right?
14 years old.
Yeah. And the police has already been searching all the empty houses in the neighborhood. They've been looking. They're worried because the weather is changing, that he's not going to last in the wilderness if he's hiding out in the wilderness.
Not with what he was wearing.
Yeah.
There's also they're saying there's also rumors going around that he might be holed up in maybe a friend's house that's on spring break or whatever. No,
that's possible too. That is very possible. I'm trying to find cameras in this neighborhood. I assume if he made it up to this intersection or that gas station,
they would have had something under.
Yeah, they would have said this intersection and that gas station, not so much the last one. So it's got to be one of these houses that has footage of him walking.
This is part of a different case. I was asking if this is Idaho.
This is Scottie Morris. He's a 14-year-old that went missing March 16th?
March 16th.
Yeah, and he hasn't been found in this small community. And they've been searching, but they did hold search, right? They halted the search.
Well, they found some bones in a fire pit, but it ended up being animal bones, so it had nothing to do with anything.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and from what I know is that they called the police like maybe like 15 minutes prior after he had left.
Mhm.
I don't know how far you can get within those 15, 20 minutes from his house. They would have came around him. I mean, they would have spotted him, right? It's a small community,
You would assume so, man.
right?
Yeah, you would assume so. Let's watch the statements from the mom. Let me pull that up real quick.
This is Felicia Morris. She is Scottie Morris's mother. We've been working with Felicia for the last 3 days, and she's been very cooperative with our investigation. We had decided that she wanted to talk to Scottie personally, so that's why we're here.
Do I hold that?
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Scott, I love you. And I want you to come home. And I know that you're mad and confused. And I'm afraid that you're scared of all of this. Everyone is out looking for you. And we're not trying to scare you. You're not in trouble. Okay? If you're in a house and they come to you and you don't want to go out because it's the cops, reach out. Me and Dad will come get you, okay? I love you and I just want you to come home. I need you to know that you're safe. Please just call 911. Tell anyone. I need you home. I just need you home, okay? And I love you so much, okay?
Thank you. That is Felicia Morris, the mother of Scottie Morris, who has been missing since 8:30 on Thursday night when he left his house. Now, the concern is that Scottie was just wearing a white T-shirt and black and red shorts. And so it's obviously been very cold these last few days. And so there's great concern for where Scottie is. The search has continued for 4 days. There are some 90 volunteers out searching today, Matthew. We've been out with those crews as the search continues along the Mississinawa River here in Eaton. Again, we're just north of Muncie in Eaton, Indiana, a community of just 1,500 people looking for this 14-year-old who's missing, Scottie Morris.
So very sad, very, very sad. It sounds to me that, what are your thoughts first? Let's ask you guys. Do you think she's sincere? Do you think some folks are saying that? I was watching this other guy, Tyler something or another, and he made a comment that he thought that this lady reminded him of that one guy who committed a murder, and then they were interviewing him, and then at the moment they found the body and he started freaking out. You're muted. I don't know who you're talking. Jaime, you're muted. Oh, all of you are.
Yeah. I mean, she sounded sincere. There were no tears, but she had a little bit of seriousness in her cry. But if they saw him walking alone in a ring camera, and they've already been cleared by lie detector tests, and I think she's probably telling the truth.
They haven't said if they passed or failed. They just said that.
No, they said they passed.
They said they passed. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that. But when the one you were talking about, then that guy, it was his neighbor, right? They were in college, and they ended up finding her body while he was being interviewed. And I remember that one. I can't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about. But from the mom's statements, I didn't feel like it was. I felt like it was kind of forced. I'll tell you that. I felt like, if my daughter or my son was missing, I wouldn't. It's hard to say how I would act, but I just didn't feel like she was acting the way she should have. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see no tears. Where's the dad? I think it looks like at one point she was supposed to do it with her at the same time. But I heard that the dad just ended up backing out at that last minute.
Yeah. Maybe it's too much for the dad, dude. getting in front of a camera like that and speaking about, your kids, that's especially when your child's missing. That's hard. That's hard. That's difficult. But yeah, I found this right here. It says, police later revealed that his parents, Felicia and Brian Morris, forced him to wear the shirt, but they said the parents are not suspects and passed polygraph tests about their son's disappearance.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so they passed that as well. Hold on, y'all. We're getting to a certain point in the show where things got to change. Give me a second.
Uh-oh.
Give me a second.
What's it go? Yeah, like for me, like I didn't feel like I didn't see no tears. For me, I mean, obviously everybody reacts differently, right?
Right. Now we're going into the second part of the show. What we used to do is end the show here and only air this part of the show out to members only. But instead, what we've done is we've made the chat members only, just so that everybody continue to watch and see what we're talking about. But only members can comment in. So I get what you're saying as far as that aspect goes. Maybe she's not acting the way you would expect somebody to act. But it also sounds like she suspects that he's somewhere, because she's like, if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
do you think that she thinks that he ran off to somebody's house?
That's the rumor. That's the rumor that saying that he took off and is at someone else's house that's out of town. And I hope that's the case, man. I really do. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case that he's just scared, that he's gonna get in more trouble. I hope that's the case, that he just ends up showing up next Monday, this coming up Monday or Tuesday, and you know what I mean. Like, I think the parents at this point, if that's the case that he's just hiding out and he comes back, I don't think it will be the same that he thinks is going to happen to him. You know what I mean? I think they will just be relieved to know that he's back home.
Right. I mean, that's quite possible. You're absolutely right. This is so small of a community, for him to be missing this many days and then not find him. I mean, there's not very many places that he could have gone or been missing in. It just doesn't seem like it appears well wooded from the aerial view, but this doesn't seem like a large area. I mean, this is literally 3 city blocks by like this area here. It's a 3x3, 9 city blocks.
Your voice.
Yeah, I got muffled out. Thank you, Lacey Son, for joining as being a member. And
welcome.
Publicly Buzz is here. What's going on, guys?
What's up? Is it still sounding pretty muffled?
No, you're good.
All right. So it's not a big community, and the areas in which they would search don't seem like a large community that would, allow us to think that perhaps you would think they would have found him by now, right? But when we looked at Nicola Bully in that case, it took them how long to find her body, and she was exactly where we thought, or where police thought she was at, right? In the river. Oh man, hopefully this turns up in a much more positive way.
I don't know if it's been said or if they know anything about this, but do you know if he's like on the spectrum?
What do you mean spectrum?
Maybe has like autistic or anything like that. Yeah,
right.
Y'all haven't heard anything about it?
I haven't seen anything like that. I'm gonna try to see if there's some talk of that, but I haven't heard of that.
You know what gets me too, because also he was wearing that shirt, and supposedly like the older sister was on TikTok. This is all allegedly, right? So he was on TikTok trying to explain the actions of their parents, right? Defending the parents, right? Yeah. And also she said that supposedly that he does this all the time. He's always stealing and lying, right? That he's a bad kid, right?
Right.
But then you got people going interviewing like the school teachers and whatnot, and the teacher are saying that they don't have no problem with him. That he's a good kid in school. So like, what's the deal? You know what I mean?
I see that sometimes as like they're really good students and then they behave, But sometimes when they're at home with the parents, like some parents, they might, get agitated quickly, or they might, he might be fighting with a brother a lot over gaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, that could be true, because of the siblings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like for me personally, I was bad at home and I was bad at school, man. I was a terrible little kid when I was young, man. For my parents and for my teachers, I feel bad for them, man. I gotta apologize to them too.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I mean, this is some stuff that I just found, right? So this says right here, it's kind of sad, and I just want him to be found safe. Aliva Hurst, a teen girl who stopped by to help tie ribbons, told the outlet, "Scottie, come home. Your parents miss you. They want you home safe." Another comment says, "We've had some tragedies, but nothing like a missing child." Megan Decken added, while tying ribbons for the missing teen, "To think that what a family is going through, a piece of you is missing when everyone is not under your roof. I hear that he was a really good kid," another woman reported said. And so he's a good kid. This says he's a good kid. We don't know how he acts at home, but if you're saying that the school, you would assume if somebody's going to be acting differently or not behaving, it would be at the school versus at home. Because at school you don't have the parents watching you, things like that, right? So if he's doing well at school, you can assume that he's probably doing well at home.
That also makes me feel like this shirt as a punishment didn't happen regularly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if he knew that was going to be the outcome for acting bad at home, he wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, man. Like my kids, like I always hear from the teachers, they're good kids, but man, they're always fighting over like who gets to sit on a certain spot of the car, whoever gets to sit on a certain side of the couch, and whoever gets to, be a certain character when they're playing Mario Kart. So they're, and they're like almost fist fighting sometimes over the stupidest thing. So
yeah,
it could be that way at home too.
Yeah.
But that's everywhere, man. That's everybody. As you have a sibling. I used to have with my sister. I used to, still fight all the time. But for my mom, like if I was someone else, like actually a good kid, like that wouldn't be considered bad kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a bad kid when you fight with your sister and call each other names and whatnot. They're saying that he was a bad kid, like he was always lying and apparently cheating, right?
Well,
stuff.
Cheated on what?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that means.
So, here's one thing though. That so they issued a silver alert the next day after he left home. Police said he is believed to be in extreme danger and may require medical assistance. What makes them think, the next day that he's in extreme danger and require medical assistance? There's got to be something there that makes them think that.
Maybe, this is unaliving thoughts, I guess.
Maybe
that, or maybe he's like, I don't know, asthmatic or something. He didn't take his medicine. Weather changes can be pretty bad for asthmatics.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing they put extreme because of the weather itself and what he was wearing. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's quite possible as well. That's definitely a big possibility there.
I don't know, man. I just really hope that that's the case, that he's just hiding out and he'll be back, and the family, it's not the way he thinks it's gonna happen. He's not in trouble. I hope that's the case, man. I don't want to hear anything. I wouldn't want anything else but that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing I noticed is that she mentioned something about call us, pick us up. If the cops come and you don't want to go to them, call us. Do you think that the parents threatened him by saying that they were going to call the police to have him arrested for something, and that's why they're saying that he might be fearful of cops?
I think he might have left more in anger than as with the threat. You know what I mean? Because I remember she said also that I know you're mad, so I'm guessing they had an argument, of course, right, because of the whole situation. And I think he left, angry. maybe something or someone picked them up with bad intent. But also that picture, on that picture you were showing up with him in the shirt. There's also a backpack next to him. So I don't know.
Really? Let me see. Let me go back to that picture. I didn't notice that. Might be onto something. You think then he ran away?
I don't know.
He definitely did run away. That's what they said. But do you think that?
But even if like he didn't, I don't know if there's anything missing from his room. Like, why would he leave him just that close? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
If he knew there was gonna be cold and whatnot, he would have taken his
some backpack there. Like, the reason I'm saying this, if there's a backpack there, like, you think they told him to leave? Why would they take a picture with him in the shirt and the backpack?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to have the backpack in the picture if he took a backpack with him.
It could have been maybe like a little form of of punishment, like, hey, you know, we're kicking you out of the house, and then he took it seriously and took off, and now they're looking for him.
Yeah,
that is true. Somebody asked the silver alerts are normally for elderly.
Yeah,
that is true. I'm gonna look it up though in that area.
And he went missing March 16th for Challenge Daily.
Nah, here. Yeah, so there is something there. So this silver alert criteria for Indiana is the person must be a missing endangered adult, missing endangered child, or high-risk missing person, or have a mental impairment validated through a credible medical authority. And so that's why it was the silver alert. All right, so it could be just because of the temperature that was happening out there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just a real sad situation. The worst part about it, you know, these cases just keep on coming. There ain't no stop to it, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is too, like why I was bringing up, like, you know, she bringing up, you know, if the police come, go to them and you know, don't be afraid or whatever. If you're afraid of them, call us. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of parents that use law enforcement as a form of fear to their children so that they act up. And this is a pretty big reason why you shouldn't, right? You shouldn't teach your children to fear police because, you know, if they are in a situation where they need the help of law enforcement, you don't want them to not approach or go up to law enforcement out of fear that they're going to be in trouble or punished. Yeah. And so, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stories out there, man, that turn out sad. The one that I haven't personally gone back to look for is one we did a video about maybe about a month and a half ago about the little girl that went missing, that the dad supposedly took her to family members.
Oh, Kojikari.
Yeah. I haven't verified to see what happened. I know that they released the mom and the dad. Yeah,
they're on house arrest right now. They have what's it called, ankle bracelet and everything because they're afraid that they're gonna be like a flight risk. But there hasn't been any update on that, man, and I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, and the one I was reading about earlier today which was a sad one, which was I guess it was a disgruntled ex-husband went over to the ex-wife's house and he shot both his own kids, his stepdaughter and the stepdad, and they all passed away.
Yeah.
And then I think he wounded the ex-wife. But
so there is. Oh, sorry about that, but I thought you were done.
I think he unalived himself there too.
Wow.
So there actually is an update on the Madalena Kojikari.
Really? I looked
March 9th. March 9th. It's not new, but March 9th. And the update is that the case is now taking a different direction as police investigate possible connections to drug and human trafficking. So I think they believe that she was human part of.
Well, that's not new. We kind of figured
everybody assumed that was possible, but the police hadn't come forward with it. That was a possibility.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't think this is going to be the same situation. This is completely horrible and on its own, but it's completely different on its own as well.
Especially with Scottie. You know, if he took off out the door, you expect the parents to catch up to him real quick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they did he know he took off, or they didn't care? Either one.
I mean, he's a 14-year-old kid. Maybe he takes off, goes for a walk. Maybe this isn't the first time he does it. Goes for a walk.
Yeah,
calms down,
that's
comes
what I heard.
back. It's a small community. I mean, right here, this says that the town of Eaton is just over 1,800 residents.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me is, if he's done it before, this time there was something to worry about because the mom called within 15 minutes.
Oh, that's true, Boo.
Supposedly they called right when he took off, which means that they knew that they saw him take off, and the cops got there 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
So
maybe he's having some unaliving thoughts, man.
That's what I'm thinking. That he might be in this, in the mindset. You know what I mean? Because it's pretty humiliating for someone to go through that. But and we don't even know if he went through anything before that shirt picture or after.
Right.
Don't know.
That's true, man.
Just hope I just hope it has a better end, happy ending.
Yeah, no, I hope so, man. I will say this though, like with kids like that run away sometimes, like when I was in law enforcement, there were some kids that like it wasn't really the parents' fault. They just, whether the kids they associated with, hung around or, there were just a few that just take off, man. And, there would be times where we'd go out there and we talk to the parents, and the parents said, we just can't control our kids. They want to, to the point where there have been times where parents want the police to arrest their children and take them in because they've nowhere else or no way else of protecting the children from themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's true, man. Because I notice things sometimes, and I remember one time, I mean, this person was young, maybe 15. I was doing vitals. I was checking, and she rolled up her sleeve. I swear she had 7 slash marks on her wrist, and they weren't shallow.
Yeah,
they were deep.
Yeah,
and the medalists were all psychotic medalists. So yeah, man, it don't matter what age they are, they get thoughts like that too.
Yeah, and sometimes appearance of a person can be one thing, and what they're doing or their thoughts or how they're reacting in their own mind can be completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so,
maybe this is just, he is autistic, like somebody put on there, and they're worried about him.
Undiagnosed, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
they wouldn't have put it as a silver alert, right? And because of weather, maybe.
And the other problem is phones. Because of phones and technology, I think that has built a gap between parents knowing who their kids associate with, right?
Yeah.
So before there was technology like a cell phone and things like that, in order to communicate, they'd have to come over to the house or they'd have to call the landline. And so parents knew who were their kids associating with, right?
Yeah.
Now that bridge is gone and that gap is widened, there's no, a lot of people might say, how do they not know who his friends are if he's hiding out with a friend?
Yeah.
It very well could be that simple, that he had friends that, his parents weren't aware of. He's 14 years old. What is that, like a freshman?
Yeah.
Yeah, just about.
Oh, yeah, like 8th grader, 9th, yeah.
And so at 14, that's a freshman in a small community of 1,800 people. Is there a possibility that maybe he's got a classmate or a friend that's a little bit older, 16, 17 years old, 18 years old already, and he's with them? Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if not, I mean, then we're led to believe that he's out there in the wilderness on his own. And it's been some cold days since then. And, you also have basic necessities, right? You got to drink, water, eat food, things like that. I couldn't imagine what his parents are going through.
No, exactly, man. Exactly. There's also could be a lot of more things just besides the the punishment or the discipline at home. I mean, he could also been bullied. Maybe, I don't know. That could have also been a part of it for him to like decide to take off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that could have, triggered someone to do such a thing.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's definitely our prayers go out to his family and to him, and our thoughts, and hopefully he's found safe, and we find some news soon. You know what I'm saying? And and that way everybody can just have a happy ending and move forward. But we're going to be covering this case. We're going to be covering developments that occur out of it. I don't think the family is involved. I think if there's anybody else, it's outside influence, maybe a friend or something. Hopefully that's the case, and not that he's out there in the wilderness alone. We have some other stuff that's going to be coming out here pretty soon, guys. On Sunday morning, we're going to be dropping our video that our theory that we put together, referencing Brian Kohberger and his most likely defense.
Yeah.
What's up, Big Blue? Your cheeks are almost touching your eyes.
What's going on? I was laughing at Hyman.
I thought you were going to talk about the video we shot last time.
Oh yeah. Well, I highly recommend you watch Sunday's video, because in it we have a commercial that we're debuting, and it's an ad, but we put some work into it. So let us know what you guys think about it. I think it's funny. We put some work into it, and we've also actually got another offer from one of our friends who is a filmmaker to meet up with him, CJ, and potentially come out on a little movie that he's a little film that he's developing. And so you might see us doing some other projects when it comes to those type of things, but we're still going to be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and whatnot. Yeah, everybody's looking at Blue's face. They know something's up.
Oh man, I'll tell you this. We were drinking, and saying lines verbatim is really hard when you've had a few.
Oh man,
the bloopers are the best, man.
The bloopers, yeah. We'll probably drop that out for members only, probably sometime middle of next week, where we're reading this, and we actually did it after one of our shows where we were consuming adult beverages, and it was a hilarious time. We'll be dropping that out. It's about 10 minutes. That way you guys can see how it went in the background, or the backstage, so to speak.
Hell yeah.
But what do y'all guys got any thoughts or any other thoughts we want to talk about a little bit before we go?
No, man, I just, these two cases, man, with what's it called, Steven, I hope FBI gets involved and they find more evidence to prove who be the culprit, right?
Right.
And then the Scottie's case, I hope he shows up. You know what I mean? Make sure that he's all right mentally. Get him some help if he needs it.
Do you think if they find him that they should investigate the parents of the family and perhaps maybe find a new home for him?
I believe if they find them alive, I think he's gonna need the help more than anybody.
Yeah,
mentally, you know what I mean? Because if, like you said, like he's out there for so long, there's no telling what he's thinking.
No,
or what he's done,
Maybe one day we'll have a commercial in the Super Bowl. Hopefully somebody will see it and we'll be like, hey, these guys saw the vision. They saw where to go with this. Let's bring them on. Blue, what do you got before we head on out?
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being on here. Thanks all the new subs, all the new members, and just be aware what your kids are doing, man. I know, like, a lot of us think Roblox is pretty innocent, and I just watched the new report saying it's like they call it like a child predator hotspot.
Yeah.
And they pretend to be little kids on there, and they talk to our kids on there. So we definitely have to be safe on there, guys.
Yep.
See who they're chatting, because you might be thinking they're playing a game, but there's actually chat rooms in there, and there's actually like some of the little Roblox, doing the deed in the middle of the damn Roblox games. So Yeah, be careful when it's
Damn,
out there,
that's
man.
crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. On that note, Roblox, y'all be careful to not put your credit information in there because these kids can go around there and they'll spend a bunch of money. I know firsthand.
Those are not my dogs this time, guys. I just want to let everybody know that the dogs you're hearing were not mine. I just want to remind everybody again, Sunday we have a video dropping. It is what we think is Kohberger's most likely defense. You don't want to miss it. We really broke down all the evidence. We broke down possible not so much motives, but possible direction towards other people that may have been involved. I think it's going to air out at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. What is that? 7:30 Pacific. So be airing that out. That's the next time you'll see us. And then we'll be back on Monday night. Any last words, Joe?
Yeah, enjoy y'all's weekend. Take care, guys.
Thank you guys. Mods, memberships, everyone.
Mods, thank you so much. As the country song says, we'll tell you guys to stop drinking, but we don't want you guys listening